guys, Ashley here from GlowBody Personal Training. Usually you know me for highly intense workouts that make you sweat within a couple of minutes, and they're super time efficient that you can all do at home. But today you guys have requested a Nutrition 101 series, so I am making it for you. First, we're going to talk about what macros are. You've heard it before. They're your protein, carbohydrates, and fat. I'm going to go in order with you. Make sure you stick with me all the way till the end, after I talk about fat. I'm going to break down to you exactly how I count my macros without actually plugging anything into a computer. It's really simple, and I pretty much just stick to the carbs, and that's what helps me stay nice and lean. So let's get started with our protein. So protein is so important because it keeps you fuller a lot longer than the other macronutrients. So it keeps you satiated. So it takes a little while for your body to digest protein, and it's really important because it's what you need in order to rebuild your muscle tissue and repair that muscle tissue so that after you work out, you can actually get gains from your workouts. Now, you want to make sure that you consume your protein within 30 minutes to an hour after working out. The sooner the better, just to maximize that protein synthesis and take away any wondering if you're doing your body a favor. You need to make sure that you also include carbohydrates in there. Proteins are especially important in my book because they're highly thermogenic. What that means is every type of food has a thermic effective food. It's called the TEF. That means that just by eating it, you burn more calories, which is awesome. So on any given day, between maybe 5 to 10% of the amount of calories you consume from eating foods, 5 to 10% are burned just by the digestive processes that go on as we digest food. Here's the bonus with protein, that it burns about 30% of your food, anywhere from 20 to 30% based on the quality of that protein source. So simply by eating protein, instead of eating, say it's a 100 calorie burger, for example, you're only actually adding 70 calories to your body because 30 calories were used in the digestion of that burger. So again, it's 30%, and you can apply that to any type of protein. So highly thermogenic. And another thing I want you to know is that you can definitely get too much protein. So I personally don't take protein supplements, protein shakes. I'm a meat eater, not a vegan, not a vegetarian. Definitely enough meat in my diet. And for the average American, you're getting more than enough meat in your diet. So protein can be used one of two ways. The first way that it can be used is that it's made up of amino acids, and those break apart, and it's called deaminated. And then you can either use those as, it will convert into glucose or ketones, and you can use that as energy if you're not getting enough carbohydrates in your diet. So protein can be used as energy to fuel your everyday, even fuel brain function. Our brains are kind of hogs for calories. And then protein can also be used as it will be stored as fat. And this is what happens when you take in an excessive amount of protein. So when you consume more protein than your body knows how to synthesize or knows what to do with, it's simply going to store as fat. So instead of getting the lean toned body you want to see, you're going to start adding fat. And yes, maybe it was just a protein shake you took, but it was more protein than your body could possibly absorb in that sitting, so it's stored as fat, unfortunately. Your best sources of protein have all 8 essential amino acids. They need all 8 essential amino acids that you take in dietary form, meaning your body can't produce those amino acids by themselves. There's about 20 total amino acids. 8 of them our bodies can't produce. We have to eat them in dietary form. It's really easy to know that you're getting all 8 essential amino acids when you're eating stuff like lean meats, dairy products, fish. Once it gets a little more confusing once you start talking about nuts, legumes, oatmeal. All of those contain some proteins, but they're not complete proteins. So if you have for example, oatmeal, you want to pair that with milk to create a complete protein. Another example would be rice and beans. When you put those together, you get all 8 essential amino acids, meaning your body can use that to repair muscle because you've just put together all 8 essential amino acids in the right quantities. Lentils and wheat bread is another example. Peanut butter, wheat bread is another example. Even macaroni and cheese, that creates all 8 essential amino acids. Macaroni and cheese isn't the healthiest food out there, but it is a source of protein once you pair those two together correctly. I generally eat protein at every single meal, and usually in about 1 snack a day. I would say sometimes 2 snacks depending on my activity level. Next, we are talking about carbohydrates. So we just talked about protein. Right now, we're talking about carbohydrates. This one gets a really bad rap. So I'm gonna be straightforward with you and tell you carbohydrates are not bad. They are actually very good for you. Carbs are responsible for the majority of bodily functions. When you eat them, they change from glucose and get stored in your body as glycogen. Every time you exert yourself, for example, you ran up several flights of stairs trying to make a doctor's appointment inside, your glycogen stores get quickly depleted. So especially if you go on a long 90-minute run, glycogen stores go really, really down, and it's up to you to replace that glycogen level, bring it back up to normal as soon as possible after that workout, or else you're going to experience some serious hunger pangs and craving, and probably make some bad choices and end up eating the simple carbs that I don't want you eating. So what is the difference between simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates? Simple carbohydrates, think of these as sugars. These are digested through your body very quickly, and then you feel hungry again. Complex carbohydrates are your starches. They take much longer to go from the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. It takes a while for your body to break it down. Those are your complex carbs, your starches. And then also what kind of falls in this category is fiber. Not really caloric because your body doesn't have the ability to break it down. Picture the skin on a sweet potato or the skin on an apple. Pushing everything through your system also slows rate of digestion and keeps your body clean, detoxing it in a very natural way. So that also falls in this category of carbohydrates. So the things that I want you to avoid, because they just go through your body so quickly with very little nutritional value. These are called micronutrients, all those little vitamins and nutrients. Those are the micronutrients. They have almost none of those, and so they're just not worth it in your diet. You're literally wasting your calories, as I call it. Say you get 2,000 calories a day. You're literally just wasting calories by filling up on simple carbs all day. So those simple carbs that I need you to really minimize in your diet, I'm not going to say eliminate because that's ridiculous. I don't eliminate them myself. But I want you to minimize things like rice cakes, pretzels, dates, white potatoes, chips, French fries, and instant oatmeal. All of those things are just digested through you super quick and not giving you any nutritional bang for your buck. So instead you want to lean towards carbohydrates that are slow to digest. So I'm talking spaghetti squash, acorn squash, sweet potato, red potatoes are even better than white potatoes. Your oatmeal, milk would fall into this category. It does have lactose in it, which is a naturally occurring sugar, but not as high of a glycemic index. So it's definitely more of a complex carbohydrate than a simple carb. Juices would fall into the simple carbohydrate if you're looking at liquids. And then all of your vegetables. So you can throw any green vegetable in there. The good thing about these, and why I want you to fill up on these complex carbohydrates, is that vegetables are also very high in fiber. So you can eat a lot of bulk, a big, huge plate of salad for very few calories because there's a lot of fiber in that meal. They're low in calories, high in water, and you get fuller longer, and it takes longer for your body to digest this. So that's why I am always harping on you to eat more fruits, eat more vegetables. The best fruits that you can eat that have are not going to cause such a blood sugar spike are your grapefruit, cherries. Not everybody are a fan of those. Eating an apple with the skin on of it. That's what I want you to lean towards. It's still okay to have more simple sugars in your fruit, such as watermelon or grapes or banana, mango. Those have a lot of simple sugars in it. Just eat it in moderation. I eat probably 3 fruits a day and at least 4, sometimes 6 servings of vegetables a day. As far as how many carbs I eat in a day, it's about 50% of my diet. Sometimes it goes all the way up to 55, sometimes as low as 45, but right around there should at least be 50% of your diet. This is true also if you are trying to lose weight. It is a very healthy amount of carbohydrates to eat. Eating low carb is not any better than eating 50% carbs in your diet at helping you lose weight long term. Alright guys, last macronutrient we're talking about today is fat. It used to get a really bad rap, especially in the 90s, early 2000s, where a lot of people were on a low-fat diet, and I think there's still a mentality out there that we should be buying like low-fat crackers, low-fat yogurts that are instead filled with aspartame to make them sweeter. But what I want you to know is that usually it's better just to buy the regular product unless it's something that has been skimmed, such as a milk or maybe a sour cream product where the fat has been literally skimmed off and not been replaced with some fake added sugar in order to give your taste buds this illusion that you're eating the full fat effect. What I want you to know about fats is that they're so important for cell function and that you want to eat them every day, but you don't want to eat them in too big of quantities because they're super dense. For every 1 gram of fat you eat has 9 calories. This is more than doubling the amount of calories that carbohydrates or protein have in 1 gram. So it has a lot. So be mindful when you pour your salad dressing that you're pouring on a lot of calories compared to the giant salad that's sitting in front of you. So the fat sources that can really add up quickly when you're eating out are cheese, butter, olive oil. Those are the main ones that really sneak in there. None of which are terrible for you, right? But when they're in large quantities, then you're just going to be consuming more calories than you need. And then when you eat more calories than you need, then it gets stored as fat. So the good things about it and why I really like it is that it initiates a release of the CCK hormone. And the CCK hormone, as soon as you eat it, you have that meal, and it's like, I feel satisfied. That feels good. When you eat a meal that doesn't have any fat in it, so you're just having some pancakes with some syrup and there's no butter, no peanut butter on it, no almond butter, you're not going to feel very full and you're not going to feel very full for long. So not only does that CCK hormone trigger satisfaction, I feel satisfied, I'm ready to push my plate away and stop eating, but it also initiates a slowdown of hydrochloric acid. That means it slows down the digestive process. So after you eat, it takes much longer to get all the way through your body because it's not producing as much hydrochloric acid. So that's what you want. You want that ding, 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 I feel satisfied, and you want your body for it to stick with you longer so that an hour later you're not looking in the pantry or looking in the fridge or thinking about running to the ice cream store, because whatever you ate for dinner is keeping you satisfied, and it's keeping you satisfied for longer. Order Ashley Keller's macros. If I had to add it up, which I don't count my macros every day, but if I did, they're right around 50% carbs, 30% protein, 20% fat, and that really works well for me. On any given day, I don't count my carbs, but something that helps me stay in line is I count how many servings of carbohydrates I've had a day. So I'm never like, oh, I had 800 calories worth of carbs or 80 grams of carbs. I don't think of it that way. I think, oh, okay, I had 2 pieces of white bread. Bam, bam, 1, 2. I had a, let's say a sweet potato, 3. A half a cup of rice, 4. This is how you can add up. Say it was a really big sweet potato, would add another carb, 5 carbohydrates. And then I had a little dessert after dinner. So I had 2 tiny cookies, 1, 2. There's 7 carbohydrates. On any typical day, I eat about 8 carbohydrates. Now, if I'm training for an endurance event, a half Ironman, I will go all the way up to 12 servings of carbohydrates a day. Maybe when I'm on vacation and trying to cut back a little bit because I'm not exercising or not as active as I usually would be, I might cut it down to 7 carbohydrates a day. And that's just a really easy tally that I usually keep in the back of my mind. Some days I forget about it, but it does provide a little bit of encouragement and just comfort that I know I'm on track. I know I'm not overindulging in carbohydrates, and by not overindulging in carbohydrates, it's how I can stay lean and keep my body healthy. But I never want to eat 0 carbohydrates. I'll literally be craving them. I'll literally get hungry and want to eat junk food. So that happens to a lot of women. Most all the women I train can relate. I know each and every one of us is different. Maybe you don't need carbohydrates in your diet and your body is really used to using protein and does that keto process. And as long as your liver is healthy, some women can get away with that and not feel sluggish, tired, lethargic, and weak. But most of us, we really need those complex carbohydrates. So get your complex carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Thank you so much for joining me today. Stay tuned because next we're talking about probiotics, prebiotics, and gut health, which is a highly ignored topic, and how much it is affecting how you hold on to weight, or maybe how you don't hold on to weight and how you stay lean. So I'll see you next time. If you like this video, please press subscribe below. You get 1 video a month from me. I never clog your inbox with junk, and it means so much for me. It means so much for me to hear from you and hear what you really want to hear, because that's what I want to produce. I want to make your life easier, more time efficient, and give you the best quality health and nutrition advice. Bye guys.